Welcome to the Trust Factor Radio, bringing you interviews and insights to unlock the power of the subconscious mind to create authority, credibility, and trust. With your host, the Authority Architect and best-selling author, Neil Howe.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is your host, Neil Howe, and today my special guest is Brady O'Rourke. He is the owner and CEO of Social Link, which is a virtual marketing department doing something different from the general digital marketing agency. So very much looking forward to finding out all that he has to say about this virtual marketing department. Brady O'Rourke, welcome to the show.
Hey, Neil. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, tell us a little bit, before we really get going here, about your background, Brady, and how Social Link came about.
Yeah, sure. Originally I kind of always have been in more of an entrepreneurial role. I started out when I was 15. I had a DJ productions company. I came home one day and there was a couple speakers in the garage, and my dad said, "Hey, you're going to be a DJ," which I fought tooth and nail at the beginning. But after I kind of got going with it, it was a blessing in disguise. I ended up running that business all the way until I was about 23. Paid my way through college with it. At the end, we would actually send out about 6 DJs on the weekends to different weddings. And then at that point, I would actually head up some of our bigger events up to 20,000 people, which was more of like a production piece at that point. Through college, I worked through hotels as well. So I did that for 7.5 years, sold the productions company in 2004, which was kind of about the time when I started transitioning into Social Link. And it was always kind of a side hobby for me. I took a couple different projects, different jobs I worked for AT&T Wireless, selling cell phones and working with businesses on getting their networks up to speed. From there, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I worked for a really great company, Ingram Content Group, in the publishing realm for about 2.5 years, headed up their global marketing department there. And then from there, I had another, opportunity to work with a small local size business. I did that for a while, and then finally, I just kind of decided to go full tilt with Social Link about 2.5 years ago, and haven't really looked back since. It's been a pretty good journey.
Excellent. So you saw a gap in the market here, maybe, and started Social Link, which is a little bit different than a normal agency. Talk to me about Social Link and exactly what you do there.
Yeah, so I actually founded Social Link in 2009, and it came out of a need that I had with the productions company, which was I had no way to source marketing talent. I had to kind of, navigate, interview, and try to find somebody that fit my budget to help me with the graphic design work. We started doing social ads, and after, at that time, advertising, that we were a virtual marketing department was kind of a miss because companies would go, whoa, what's this virtual thing about? We want people in the office. And really in the last, 2 to 3 years, this conversation has switched to, well, of course you're virtual because the majority of things that a marketing department does can all be done virtually or on a computer. And so that's kind of the need that we filled is catering to small to medium-sized businesses who have some sort of a skill gap in their or no marketing department at that point. So we either fill the gap or we create a team of creatives that fit the business's needs. And from there, we basically, there's usually 2 asks. Either they're looking for lead generation or some sort of go-to-market strategy or growth plan. And that's kind of the big thing is we're looking for companies that are looking to grow and to kind of take their business to the next level. And usually that comes in the form of somebody that is either looking to expand their products or offerings. They're looking to, go from their brick and mortar store to some sort of online revenue. maybe somebody that's recently purchased a business. And we help a lot of entrepreneurs, independents like attorneys and real estate agents, and just general startups kind of get their planning and their strategy together. And once we go through that growth plan strategy, we help execute that plan, which usually comes out into tactics like, building a website or building a mobile app, and also, social media, search engine optimization, graphic design, content development, all wrap into that plan. And what's great about it is because our business is virtual, we're actually able to scale what the business needs. So sometimes there's seasonalities where, there's peaks and valleys. And so we try to scale up and down with the business, which is really helpful for our small to medium-sized companies because, to have 5 people on salary all year long is really expensive and unattainable for a lot of businesses. So to get multiple skill sets around the table and execute a plan efficiently is a key thing for our clients.
Definitely. Talk to me more about this strategy session that you have with people when you first engage them. Do you find that most companies have a good idea of what they want to do, or are they completely lost when it comes to a digital marketing strategy?
Yeah, I think a lot of our clients have some sort of aspirational goal. They know that they want to, grow revenue or grow some sort of data point, maybe it's emails or likes on their Facebook page. But really what we try to do when we're talking about a growth strategy is drill into, activity metrics that matter and what is a trackable goal. And really what that does is we talk about, what are your 3 to 5 business overall priorities? And that might come in with, somebody might say, well, I want a new website, or, I want a general SEO strategy, or I want to advertise on Facebook, to which we might reply, well, why do you want a new website? Or why do you want, more likes on your Facebook page? And from there, we talk about, what are your 12-month sales goals? Because we want to put some stakes in the ground that actually are measurable, and we can start to form a strategy around those sales goals. And also sometimes we have clients that just have, unrealistic expectations. And so if you go through the sales goals, it kind of helps to mold a more strategic and obtainable goal that forms around their budget and what they're actually able to handle. And then from there, we talk about, the activity metrics that matter. And that's, maybe I know that if I, get 1,000 impressions, that generates 10 phone calls. And from those 10 phone calls, I can expect 3 sales. And so that's what we try to measure is what are those activity metrics that actually matter to the company. And every company is a little bit different, and put those stakes in the ground. And then from there, we also talk about, a little bit more on the demographic side about who you sell to. And we talk about your sales team and their competitive advantage. Every sales team is a little bit different. And then we walk into the conversation of, okay, well, this is how we're going to do it. This is going to be our approach. And we, highlight those bullet points. And then from there, my favorite part of the growth planning strategy is to get to what are your 30, 60, 90-day wins. This is where we identify kind of the low-hanging fruit, as far as, what is it that would make you happy as a client, and what makes sense as a business in the next 30 days to get that done quickly. And then we kind of start to build stretch goals from there. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty solid process. I think a lot of our clients find it to be really helpful. And that's generally what we'll do, first thing when we're onboarding a client, because that information is then used for our entire team. So anybody that is touching the account from, a graphic design perspective, a web development perspective, SEO, they're looking for this information. Find that if we document it up front, we can, set the client's expectations, set our internal expectations. And by identifying these goals, it also helps keep everybody accountable, us and them, to, this is what we're trying to obtain. And then from there, it gives us some metrics that we can actually track and measure to make sure that, your investment with us or in advertising is paying back its dividends.
Well, it's definitely important to have those goals and establish what those are and have that understanding of how you're going to get there. Makes things a lot easier when you have that good communication between the client and yourself. What kind of services are the main services that are needed then to reach those goals?
Yeah, a lot of time, people are looking for, a new website. So there's, different types of websites out there, but, when a small business is getting up and running, they generally will turn to, something quick, like a Wix or something like that. And we specialize in building custom websites that are, focused on lead generation. So what we'll do is we'll take their current website, analyze it, find out, are they currently generating any leads off of it? What is that conversion rate? What is the user's behavior when they're on that website? And then we try to identify areas that are solid improvements or UI enhancements. And then we may, refresh the website. We take a look at, where is the traffic coming from? And the big focus is always on the website first, I should say, just because that's your point of conversion in your digital strategy. So that's, before you go do SEO or before you put money into advertising or before you, put a post out on social media, all of that should be driving back to your website. So we try to focus there first and make sure that that's up to par as far as, industry standards. Is it loading properly? Is it mobile friendly? Is it easy to fill out a form? Is it easy to buy the spark plug? And so we do some analysis there. And then once we feel that the website environment's stable, that's when we start to move into, your channel activities, which is SEO, social media, pay-per-click, content development. We do it. We write a lot of blogs for our clients. We do a lot of video production, and generally a lot of emails. We manage a lot of email campaigns. And then, so from there, once we get all the channel activities up and running, we point back to the website and we pull the analytics and we say, okay, how did this campaign do? Or, how could this campaign be improved next time? So it's a lot of analysis and a lot of, strategic marketing that we help our clients with.
And when you're looking at the data and developing content, how do you develop that content? Is it mainly through blogs, or is video and like audio podcasts like this becoming a more valuable resource for content development?
Yeah, absolutely. And the beautiful thing about a blog is you can blog about your podcast, or you can blog about your video that you just made. And it's funny because it blogging seems like it's such a archaic way of getting your information out there, and it's been around forever. But the reason being is that's where you can put your fresh content, and it's kind of that stream, your own individual feed, your business feed of, here's what's happening with the business. And what's great about blogging is it's a full move, because if I'm creating a blog about this podcast, which we will do, I now have content that I can send out to all of my channels. I will send that blog to, our Facebook page, our LinkedIn profile. It'll get repurposed in an email. It gives me clout because I'm, talking to you and everything. So the beautiful thing about blogging is that it's a full move. It also affects your SEO, because Google loves fresh content. And so if you're just constantly supplying them with this fresh content, you're going to rank higher. I've got a client that just through blogging, this quarter last year, they had roughly 1,500 visitors to their website. And just through a content strategy alone, through their blog, this quarter, this year, they've now, they're over 6,000 visitors. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not a silver bullet, and it definitely takes some consistency and some work. But after you get into a strategy like that, it starts to pay dividends. And so when we're sending that much traffic, that much more traffic to the site, we're saying, okay, so at the 1,500 visitors that they got last year, what was the conversion rate and where were they coming from? And we're saying the same thing this year. Okay, what is their conversion rate? Where are they coming from? And has, it been effective as far as conversions go? Because we can send traffic all day long, but in the end, we want to make sure that when they're on the site that they're actually converting and contributing to the bottom line.
Mm. And there's a lot of people that will do these interviews and generate some great content, but not put it up on their own blog. What is the benefit of putting it on your own blog rather than just share it on your social media channels?
Yeah, well, the benefit of putting it on your own blog is that content is then hosted somewhere where the user can convert or get more information about your company. So if I put a post out there on social media and send the link to to another source, they're kind of out of your realm. They're out of that closed loop that is a trackable metric. So what we try to do is get all that traffic back to your website. That way they see you as the authority. That way they see you as the thought leader. And then they're also able to browse other topics or even browse your products or services. And so we find that when we get them onto the website, in some form or fashion, they're already in the sales funnel, usually about midway down. So they might still be looking for discovery and just looking for some general education. But when the goal is that if you have enough content there, that you position yourself as the thought leader and they start to feel comfortable with you as somebody that can help them attain their goals. And so that's really the benefit is getting them on your website so that you can kind of tell your story and then also be helpful along the way. We're big on, like the soft sell. We don't want to say, hey, we build websites. Can we build your business? We like to put content out there that helps them kind of self-serve or come to that conclusion on their own that, hey, I can do so much of this on my own, but when I get to a certain level, I'm going to need some help. And when they get to that point, we want them to think of us when it's time for help, because we're happy to step in. And like I said, we can scale up and down with our clients and their seasonalities. Again, we want to provide as much information to help them do as much as they can on their own, because we've been a small business before. I've had small businesses before, and it would be nice to have a team of 10 marketing folks sitting in the back room doing stuff for us all day long. But it just doesn't work that way. So we try to be as efficient as possible and give our clients the tools to be efficient too on their own. And that way we're just building stronger relationships, because in the end we're looking for long-term partners versus, somebody that needs a quick fix.
Mm. Well, I'm sure every business would want a team of 10 digital marketers working on their behalf at all times. There's a lot to do to get your content out there. And speaking of that, how often should business be producing new content? And what is the easiest way for them to, syndicate that or repurpose it on all the different platforms out there?
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend on the platform. A general rule of thumb is try to get at least 1 to 2 pieces of content out there every week. And that can be as simple as updating your Facebook page, putting a blog up, sending an email, because you don't want to be out of sight, out of mind. That's kind of the big thing is just keeping a consistent content strategy is key, because as you continue to develop relationships with people that are reading your materials, that's the most important part, is that they can actually get to the materials easily, and that it's always in front of them. That way, like I said, when they kind of get to that point of I need help, you're the first person they think of, because you developed that relationship over a period of time.
Yeah, and obviously that doesn't work only in the marketing world. That works across all businesses, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, talk to me about, being top of mind. And I know email is extremely important where you're able to capture their attention without any other distractions by, jumping in their email inbox. How often do you suggest that people send emails out?
That's kind of a tricky question to answer because if you're, in the retail space, you're going to be sending emails a lot more frequently as new products come onto your website. There's different ways to measure behavior. If I'm opening up an email frequently and clicking and coming to the website, that might say that, I'm a more engaged client and customer and more emails is okay with me. But if I'm not opening or if I'm not clicking, a less frequent email might be something that's more of like a recap versus an individual piece would probably be more beneficial to me as a customer. So it really depends on the business model and the behavior of the clients. Again, we try to measure all of those activities to make the best experience possible for our customers' clients, or our clients' customers, however you want to say it. And so that's really what we try to do is form a custom strategy to each business's needs and their customers' needs.
And let's talk about your business model here, Brady. You have a subscription model for your services?
Yeah, actually, so how we're different than most agencies, or haven't found one yet, but so we have our own in-house team, and then like the majority of agencies out there, we also have freelancers that will fill our own gaps. And so what we've come to the market with and what we're actually going to be launching in mid-October here is a platform and mobile app that allows you to do both. So what you can do is you can either hire us as an agency and take on the project as a traditional agency would at a flat rate model that's very competitive in the pricing. And so with that model, you hire us, you get one account manager, and he or she manages all the resources on the back end to create and execute your strategy. Or what's really cool is that we're actually going to give you access to our freelancers. And so you can actually pull up the app. And if you want to manage your own team and you feel comfortable kind of, sourcing your own team, you can hire our freelancers through the Creative Nearby feature. And that's where you pull up a map, and on that map, you'll see, oh, there's a graphic designer, a mile from here. I want to hire this person because they're local, or I need a writer for my blog. That's also a big thing, is like people like writers to be in their local, their local market, because they have kind of the pulse on what's actually happening and going on. So there's two ways that you can engage with us. You can hire us directly as your agency, or you can hire our freelancers. All of our freelancers are background checked. They are reference checked. They are education verified. And so that kind of sets us apart from the competition as well. What's also great about our agency model is we are on a pay-as-you-go model. And so for this podcast and for, we're kind of beta testing an $85 an hour flat rate model, which is pretty crazy compared to, a lot of boutique agencies will be somewhere in that $125 to $200 an hour range. And so, but because we're a virtual agency, our efficiencies and our talent pool is a lot deeper. And with that, we're able to really, like I said, scale up and down with the client and the business's needs. So we're really excited about getting the platform launched, because it really helps to kind of scale our current internal processes. And, it also is great for our clients too, because it also gives them a lot bigger view on the activities that we're working on for them. There's a lot of tracking and reporting on, today we completed your Facebook campaign. Here's the screenshot of that ad. And here's the, screenshot of those results. Also in the platform, you're able to track your social engagement. So you can see how much your Facebook page likes have gone up, how much your Instagram followers have gone up. We've also got a connection in there that we connect to your website, so you can monitor your website traffic. And the reason why we built all of that is because we want to be able to measure our effectiveness with our clients, and we also want our clients to be able to measure our effectiveness. That as far as what we've provided for services, so that they can feel comfortable that they're getting a solid ROI on any of the activities that they either engage us in or freelancer in.
Well, the two great options there. I know there's businesses that just needs somebody to come in and take over all their marketing, but then there's other businesses that might have a marketer on staff or somebody that's good at doing some things, but maybe hasn't got all the skills to do some of the other things. So to be able to just hire per hour for certain things is definitely something that will be needed. We're looking forward to seeing that in October. Give us some example of somebody that you've worked with, Brady, that really sticks out. What kind of problems did they have when they came to you? What were you able to do for them? And ultimately, what was the outcome?
Yeah. I guess I'll start with our very first client. They were, it was a hotel chain. It was actually a company that I had worked for prior. I was out living in Baltimore at the time. And I had just started Social Link up, and an old boss had approached me and said, "Hey, Brady, we thought it was pretty cool that you were selling rooms on MySpace." That gives you a timeline of when it was happening. And we're thinking about opening up an internet marketing department. We'd love to have you on board to kind of drive that. And it was a big client to come on board for me because they had 34 hotels. So my first client came with 34 small businesses, and so for the first year, I really just sat there and just tried to do as much as possible for this one client. And it's also about identifying current market trends, because at that time Groupon was really hitting off, and there's a lot of new age peer-to-peer platforms that were coming out at that point. And within the first 12 hours of being hired, we had generated over $100,000 in new revenue through using a Groupon platform. So sometimes it's not your traditional channels that matter, as far as like Facebook advertising or SEO. Sometimes it's also about identifying, what's trending right now and what can you use in those trends to your business's benefit. So that was a pretty successful first client. And that year too, we launched an additional 27 websites. We launched a really big SEO strategy for them. All the hotels in Arizona were ranking first page on a lot of the search terms, the branded search terms. At this time, the hotels did not have a full grasp on what SEO was or why it was important. And so we started dominating the search engines with their, what we called pseudo sites. And about a year and a half later, the hotels caught on to that and said, well, we want you to build all these microsites inside of, our main domain, and the pseudo sites can't exist anymore. So, but it was really successful for them, and it was a really great first client, and I still work with a few of them today. And so that was kind of the big one.
Great. Yeah, well, it's nice to see you getting the results and keeping your finger on the pulse of what is happening. There's always something happening new in the digital marketing world. And having somebody that just can stay on top of that is just as important as having somebody that can do the work. Finding out where the opportunities are is a strategy in itself, definitely. Well, Brady, if somebody listening to this wants to reach out to you, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, visit the website, go to sociallink.com. Right now, we got to get a quote button on there. If you just fill out that form, it comes to us, and we can give you a shout back and kind of go through the growth planning strategy process that we talked about. That's complimentary with all of our clients that are onboarding. And then, in a couple of weeks, hopefully you'll be able to hit that sign up button on there and sign up for the platform. You'll be able to download it in the mobile app store on iOS and Android, and you can get started that way. And then also, if you're interested in engaging with me personally, you can reach me by email. And that's Brady, Brady, @sociallink.com.
Excellent. Well, Brady O'Rourke, he's the CEO of SocialLink, a virtual marketing department. Thank you very much for being my guest on the Trust Factor Radio today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Neil.
And to our listening audience, if you like what you hear, hit that like button and share, and we'll see you next time on the show.
You've been listening to the Trust Factor Radio with Neil Howe. To learn about the resources mentioned in the show and to listen to past episodes, go to thetrustfactorradio.com. To get a copy of the book, The Trust Factor, go to thetrustfactorbook.com. If you are ready to act now and build your authority, credibility, and trust, schedule a consultation with Neil at theauthorityarchitect.com.